Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Review. Today we're reviewing the new movie, The Wild Robot. This is a DreamWorks movie directed by Chris Sanders, who I don't really know. He is known best as Lilo and Stitch writer, apparently. The Croods TV show, not a whole lot. He does seems to do a lot of work for Disney TV and for DreamWorks. Well, I guess I'll start off with what I liked about the movie. Being DreamWorks, the animation is top notch. It's better than what you get at Disney or Paramount, in my opinion. Very, very clear. Only noticed one real animation error. At one point during the major conflict in it, they render some of the background effects poorly. It's like they missed a few layers. It's a pretty glaring error, but it only lasts for about a second and a half. So you really don't have time to notice it if you're not paying attention. Other than that, the animation is beautiful. A plus end to end. The stars of this show actually do a very good job. I had no problem with any of the voices. Pedro Pascal, he plays Fink the Fox. He does a very good job. And as his name would suggest, he is a bit of a Fink. And he plays well into that. So I guess Pedro Pascal got over his not actually being on camera attitude he had with The Mandalorian and is willing to do voice acting work. But he did a very good job. Roz is played by, I'm going to butcher this name, Lupita Nyong'o. But I can't really do any better job than that, unfortunately. She was in 12 Years a Slave, Big Mouth. She was just in The Quiet Place Day 1 earlier this year, so you may know that one. And nothing else that really pops up. Oh, she is in Star Wars Episode 9 as Maze. So I'm glad to see her recovered after that disaster. But yeah, the voice cast always did very well. My favorite of them was Vin Rames. He plays basically just a guest role. He is the real hero's Brightbeak. Is played by Kit Connor, a little Gosling in this movie, who is, I'd say, the secondary hero. Vin Rames plays Thunderbolt, the flight instructor, Falcon. He does a very good job in this little cameo role. And even Mark Hamill is in it, playing a bear. His political stances aside, he did a very good job as the bear. Granted, he had maybe 10 to 20 words of dialogue. So those are the high points. The low points for me have to come with primarily the editing of this movie is what I had a big problem with. They have scenes in there, they spoil the reveal of the antagonist at the beginning of the primary conflict. For some reason, I'll just spoil this for you. The geese are migrating. They end up going to a farm They spoil the robots with the plasma cannons. They attack the birds, and they're the major problem at the end of the movie. I didn't like that early reveal. Takes away from the end of the movie. And that's about 5 to 10 minutes of the movie we could have edited out and probably been better with not having it. And hello, Sci-Fi Sis Dan. How you doing? My next biggest problem was the writers. This is supposed to be an empowerment movie for single mothers. They try to cover it up, and they do a good job of that for the most part, but if you're looking at it, you can tell this is a single mother movie. And writers and director Chris Sanders and Peter Brown, those are the two primary writers. They're doing a good job for the most part up until the ending. The ending, for one, didn't make sense, and you don't get that payoff. It pretty much makes the entire action that they just went through completely pointless. I had to downgrade the movie for that too. They just didn't want to give you that happy ending that everyone wants. You knew what it was very obvious how this movie should have ended and how it should have gone. But for some reason they didn't want to do that. They give you something close. However, they just don't want to give you that actual happy ending. So it may have just been a choice, or it's a talent issue when it comes to writing. But this pulls it down from what could have been a B- movie to me. It has to get downgraded to just a C movie with all those mistakes. It had a lot of potential. There's no way for them to make a franchise out of this like they did the last couple of movies. The Bad Guys was DreamWorks. They got 2 movies out of that. They also made Shrek, freaking powerhouse of a franchise. But unfortunately, the Wild Robot isn't going to be a franchise for them. At least it shouldn't be. And hello, Mikey, and hello, Sis Dan. How you guys doing? This movie could have been saved, as I said, with editing out the spoiler for the robots and changing up the end so you get a little bit more of a happy ending that everyone wants to see. My personal experience in the theater, there was a bunch of kids in there. None of them were super excited. Some of them outright disinterested. Usually you want kids to really latch onto a movie, especially the ending. I didn't see that in any of them, and I didn't feel it myself. So this can't be a success for me. They could have changed it up a little bit. Could have been a lot better, but overall, it's a C. A little bit worse than what I would have given Transformers 1 a couple weeks ago. I think the release date of these two being so close together is really going to hurt the box office for the Wild Robot. Transformers kind of bombed. This one, I think, is going to do even worse, unfortunately. DreamWorks usually does higher quality stuff. I'm sad that they missed the mark on this one. But that's all I have for you today. If you have young kids, I'd say 7 and younger, this movie is good for. They're not going to notice any of the real mistakes. It may keep them quiet for an hour and a half. The runtime of this is just about 100 minutes. $101 for official runtime. So we'll keep them occupied a little bit. So far 8.2 out of 10 out of IMDb. Oh yeah, Mikey, that's way too high of a score. I'd give it probably a 6.8, 6.9. But yeah, not much higher than that. There is not a whole lot of excitement. It could have been a feel-good movie. If they did things right, this could have been as high as a B minus, but this maxes out as at a C for me. It may even drop to a C minus if I ever bother watching again. This movie does not have a lot of rewatchability. If you try to put it on for your kids repeatedly, it's not going to go well. This is not going to be any kid's favorite cartoon movie that they keep asking for. There's a lot better options out there for families and kids. I'd suggest go see Transformers 1 over this. But that's about all. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday for Sci-Fi Cinema. Take care, everyone.